All right, Shalom. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem Chakodash. Peace and double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that give us his truth and all the spirituality. And salutations to all Yakim pushing this word throughout the four corners of the earth in sincerity and in truth. I'm the brother Yausap, and this lesson will be going into the coming power grid collapse, which is going to result in hundreds of millions of Americans dying. So this is the article. It says World Economic Forum insider brags false flag on power grid will result in holocaust of non-compliant humans. So there goes the plan. Y'all don't want to abide by what we say. We're just going to turn off the power grid. It says the World Economic Forum is planning a major power grid and cyber attack that will cause widespread power loss, disconnecting the vast majority of Americans from the power grid and the internet, plunging the nation into unprecedented chaos for years, according to World Economic Forum insider who warns the globalist elites are viewing the attack as their Noah's Ark moment. So they're going to plan the attack and they're going to ride the waves. They're going to ride the flood, because they're the ones causing it. So they're going to be protected from it, And it says, while the majority of the population will be left to fend for themselves in a desperate fight for survival that most will lose, those who have been designated upgraded humans by Davos will be saved by what the World Economic Forum is calling their technological Noah's Ark. So what is that going into, man? The C-HIP that they plan on putting on people. You see, Elon Musk, he just got approved by the FDA for the Neuralink. And then you have Paradromics, which is a rival of Neuralink. They're about to get approved as well, So we see the setup, man. On top of the fact that the economy is about to collapse, and they're planning on bringing this CBDC, which is a digital currency, man. All countries now, are talking about CBDCs. So we see where this is leading, man. So guys that have been, playing games and, deceiving Israel about what the MOTB is, man, they're gonna be scrambling, and you've seen them scrambling now, man. You got your boy Nasty Nate, Moneybag Nate, over there talking about some, it's not the MOTB, it's sin, and then goes about to show videos going into CBDC, which how can you tie the two? How can you tie digital currency into sin? Because you can't pay with sin. That doesn't make any sense. But what he's doing, like Apostle Ramla been saying, is he's setting up the stage for when it is made mandatory. He could say, see, we've been talking about this. Hey, brother, bring up the video, the lesson we did 6 months ago, And then Israel, still gonna glorify him as if he's a prophet, man. So, hey, man, gods are gonna get confounded, man. So it says, skip this. It says, according to World Economic Forum, the power grid attack will leave most of the country in darkness for years, and the cyber attack will be so vast it disconnects the internet for all except those with satellite phones, plunging the nation into chaos. So, hey, man, you see the setup, because what is it? The senators, I believe, the politicians, they were just given satellite phones. So what do they know that we don't, man? They're about to shut this thing down, man. It says the nation is going to plunge into chaos. Yeah, because, Americans, they're not used to going without power for long periods of time. Third world countries, they're used to it, man. I'm from a third world country in Haiti, growing up out there. Hey, man, you go without electricity sometime for years, months, and you just have to do with what you got, man. Social media, even though now it's a little bit more westernized now, but, back then is, mainly, you read books, you go outside and play, just how it used to be, back in the 70s in America and stuff like that. But, America's always been had a power grid, but my point is third world countries, they use to getting their power cut off and going without. And, they depend on the land mainly, their food, they have their crops, their local crops, local stores, They have wells in their own, lakes, rivers. So they don't need to depend on the power grid in order to survive. But Americans, they depend on it, man. They need it. Nobody knows how to grow crops. Nobody knows how to dig a well, and they sure as hell don't know how to go and hunt and catch some food. So when this thing gets shut down, man, people are gonna be out there stranded, man. Don't know what to do. So it says, it is from this chaos that a phoenix will rise from the ashes, according to the World Economic Forum insider, who explained exactly how the global elite plan to seize control of the U.S., removing our fundamental freedoms and ushering the Great Reset. So they're rushing this thing, man. Like the scriptures say in Revelation, the 12th chapter, the devil is cometh down with great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. So his time is short. So he's rushing it, as fast as possible, so that they could see their new world order flourish before Yahushua come. So it says, first, let's take a look at what Klaus Schwab has already said on the matter and pay attention to his body language. Now I'm gonna play this video. Hopefully they don't
let this soft mineral melt in your mouth to rebuild your gums and teeth, and never need a dentist again.
The World Economic Forum is planning a major power grid and cyber attack that will cause a widespread power loss, disconnecting the vast majority of Americans from the power grid and the internet, plunging the nation into unprecedented chaos for years, according to a WEF insider who warns that the globalist elite are viewing the attack as their Noah's Ark moment. While the majority of the population will be left to fend for themselves in a desperate fight for survival that most will... Trump has already said on
cyber attack.
Pay attention to his body language.
Pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack.
So there you go, man. These devils are salivating over this idea. They rejoice at the, at the sight of bloodshed, man. So they can't wait to bring this thing down, man. It says you don't have to be an expert in body language to understand that Schwab's excitement about the major cyber attack. It says the global elite have laid the groundwork with the COVID or C-pandemic, pre-programming the masses that this is the final nail in the coffin. So they straight up letting you know, man. So how would they know that it would be a power grid attack unless they're the ones orchestrating it? Just like with this next pandemic, they said it's coming. How would you know that unless you were planning it? And Biden said, I was just reading the article, Biden said there's going to be some new lockdowns for the coming pandemic, man. So, hey, brace up. This coming year, these coming months, in 2024, leading into 2024, man, it's going to be very hectic, man. On top of the fact that the debt ceiling has been raised up again, which is causing more debt, inflating the bubble even more, so this thing is bound to collapse, man, and when the people rise up, they're just going to shut the grid down. So that's it on that. And I also had this right here. It says, this is from urbansurvivalsite.com. It says, why 90% of the population would die without electricity? They're talking about 90% of America's population in all the Western countries that are dependent upon the power grids. It says experts predict that an EMP strike that wipes out electricity across the nation would ultimately lead to a demise of up to 90% of the population. So it could either be a cyber attack or an EMP strike, which most likely might be a cyber attack because they've been talking about different hackers from different countries doing things, Or either way, man, it's going to shut down the power grid, and 90% of the population would die because they all depend on this grid, man. Hospitals, like this devil was saying, transportation, you name it, they all depend on it. Banks, It says It says, however, this figure begs an important question. If we were able to live thousands of years without even the concept of electricity, why would we suddenly all die without it? While it may seem as if going without electricity would be nothing but an unfortunate inconvenience, the truth is much more harrowing. To better understand why 90% of the population would die if the lights went out, consider the following ways in which losing electricity would impact our society. No electricity means no water. Almost no one carries a bucket to a well to draw up water anymore, which third world countries still do. And I remember I used to do that, man. Get water from the well, boil it, let it cool off, and that's your drink of water right there, man. So people don't do that anymore. Everything is outsourced. You go to your faucet and your water is provided. All the water is connected to the town water, And this is all was done by design, man. Because the elites, they knew ultimately what they would do in the end. So they set the people up for the downfall. So now people don't know how to dig a fucking well. They don't even know where to dig to get that water. And the water that's available, as far as, the lakes, the rivers and things of that nature, they're poisoning them with all these train derailments, all these spills, chemical spills that's happening. So if you do find water, it's going to be poisoned. It says, what this means is that our water sources are now dependent on electricity. If an EMP strikes, the vast majority of the population would lose access to fresh water as soon as the water towers run dry. Some people would be unable to find other sources, but many would not. For those without water, the length of their lifespan would be measured in days. Yeah, I believe they did the study that said that you could only last up, I believe, 3 to 4 days without water, until your body just shut down, man. Because we're made of 70% water. It says, those who are able to find water sources not dependent on electrical power now have another concern, food. So if you got water, what about food now? Because you need both to survive. Almost everyone who lives in an urban location is completely dependent on markets and grocery stores for their food supply. Hey, man, you go to New York City, man, ain't no fucking land. You don't just get to just grow shit, man. It's nothing but buildings, man. Everything is from grocery stores. So if they shut that island down, hey, man, chaos is going to unleash. It says, even those who live in rural locations are largely, if not completely, dependent on buying food from outside sources. Yeah, so even outside of New York City, you go to upstate, upstate they do have a lot of farms, but you go to the Long Island, those areas, you still depend on going to the grocery stores, man. And not just here in New York, but all over America, man. Most people are not farmers. Most people don't have land to grow food. It says, however, if the electricity goes out, the supermarkets are going to be looted and possibly never restocked. Yeah, and before they said it was only 2 to 3 days worth of supply in food supermarkets, which is why whenever you go there, you always see a Walmart truck or whatever, BJ's, always unloading, man. And that was before they said that. But now, past 2020, the logistics and the food supply has been completely depleted, man. To where now they're stocking up every day or every 2 days, man. So if the power grid goes out, panic is gonna ensue and people are gonna loot and rob. They show you that in the movie World War Z. Everybody was robbing, even the cops, because everybody gonna be trying to look out for their own, and never restock, because the trucks that bring those supplies, they run on diesel, and the diesel comes from a gas station. The gas station, in order to run, needs power. So you can see where this is going, man. From transportation to refrigeration. Yeah, so the transportation and refrigeration. So the food that might be available is going to rot. But guess what? People are still going to eat it for desperation, man. It says to even the growing of the food itself. Our entire system of keeping the population fed is reliant on electricity. Sure, there will be small farmers who are able to feed small amounts of people nearby, and there will be those who are able to adapt and grow their own food. But an alarming number of people would starve to death in a matter of months. And I believe they said your body could go up to 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks without eating food, you know? And that's one of the worst ways to die. Like it says in the scriptures, it says, Lamentations 4:9, those that be slain with the sword are better than those that die by famine. Because those that die by famine pine away. Matter of fact, let me get it real quick. This is in our GNTD version. Let's get that. Lamentations, I think it's 4 and 9. It says, those who died in the war were better off than those who died later, who starved slowly to death with no food to keep them alive. So famine is a slow death, man. Your body literally eats away at itself, eats away at your muscle fibers, your organs, until your whole shit just shut down, man. And that's a long process. So it says, yeah, that's it on that. Now let's go back. Matter of fact, let me read the next verse. The disasters that came to my people brought horror. Yeah, so those calamities, they're coming mainly upon Jake, because Jake needs to be corrected, man. Here it is. The Most High sent his prophets out to reprove you, to get you to turn back to him, but you don't want to return. So guess what? That's going to be your judgment, man. The Lord said in Jeremiah, the 15th chapter, matter of fact, I'm going to finish this and I'm going to read it, where it basically breaks down how the Lord is going to divide different portions of 2/3 to different ways to die. It says, those who died verse 10, the disasters that came to my people brought horror, Jacob's trouble, man. Jeremiah 30:7, wherefore do I see every man on his loins and faces are turned to paleness? It says, loving mothers boiled their own children for food. And that happened in the famine of Samaria. Women boiled their children to eat. That happened in 70 AD, and that's going to happen again. That's one of the curses of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. There's nothing new under the sun. So the Lord is going to bring all those curses in full force upon 2/3 of our people. It says, the Lord turned loose the full force of his fury. So you're going to feel the wrath of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua in full force, man. He lit a fire in Zion that burned it to the ground. So that fire is going to be Jacob's trouble, a time of trial. And we're going to be in the midst of it too, The Lord's will with the elect, the difference between us and 2/3 is the Lord is going to make sure we get sustained by showing miracles for us, man. Brothers getting spiritual power, creating food or multiplying food that's available, have an angel come down and feed us, have the animals feed us. The Lord got many ways to preserve his elect, man. But that's it on that. Now let's get what did I call for? Jeremiah 15. Jeremiah 15 and 1. It says, then the Lord said to me, even if Moses and Samuel were standing here pleading with me, I would not show these people any mercy. Make them go away. Make them get out of my sight. When they ask you where they should go, tell them that I have said, some are doomed to die by disease. So you got the epidemics, more epidemics in emotion, and those that's coming, hey man, those ain't gonna be no like C19 where, you bounce back. No, they're gonna be deadly. The Marburg, and all the other things that the CDC, got cooked up, man. The bubonic plague, they made that 10 times stronger, man. Why would they do that? Unless they have an agenda, man. And they're gonna spray it in the air. They're gonna put it in the food, in your water supply, and they're gonna keep telling you, yo, come get more V's so that you could be healed, man. So it's gonna be a great culling coming to the world, man. It says, others are doomed to die in war. World War III, man. That's brewing up. You see Russia, they've been talking big talk. America and Ukraine and the Western powers try to assassinate him, I believe 2 or 3 times, and it failed with drones, you know? So what do you think that's going to lead into, man? You know? More countries are aligning with Russia, you know? So the stage is set, man. It says that's where they will go. Some are doomed to die of starvation. That's where they will go. So the Lord got a portion of each Jake set up for a certain death, man. You know? It says others are doomed to be taken away as prisoners. That's where they will go. So prisoners going into the concentration camps, which there's hundreds of them throughout America, you know, and probably in other countries as well. They already got them in China, you know, big detention camps, you know, along with, the 15-minute cities agenda that they're trying to bring, you know. So it says, I, the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, have decided that 4 terrible things will happen to them. They will be killed in war. Their bodies will be dragged off by dogs. Birds will eat them, and wild animals will devour what is left over. And that's a gruesome, excruciating way to die, man. You know? Dying in wars for, you know, and your body just get mutilated by animals. That's a terrible way to go, man. Your body's not put to rest. You know? And the scriptures say the bodies is going to be like dung in the streets. So we're going to be stepping over dead bodies, man. That's where Psalms, the 91st chapter, is going to come to play. But the Lord said, 1,000 shall fall by thy side and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. You know, that's talking about the elect members. You know? So Lord's, what were those men, man? We about to see some shit in these last days, man. It says, yeah, that's the point on that. Now let's get the other one, Jeremiah 30. Jeremiah 30 and 7. It says, a terrible day is coming. No other day can compare to it. So you can't compare the days we're coming into 70 AD, slavery, or any atrocious time that our people have been through our history, man. You could combine them all together, it still won't amount to what the Heavenly Father has prepared for Israel in these last days. You know? So it says, a terrible day is coming. No other day can compare with it. A time of distress for my people, but they will survive. The ones that's going to survive is the elect, the 1/3 of the nation of Israel, as it states in Zechariah 13:8. 2 parts shall be cut off and die, but a third shall remain therein. You know? And how is the third going to remain? The Lord is going to use his angels to protect them, as it states in Daniel the 12th chapter, that Michael himself is going to have to stand up for the children of our people. That's how bad it's going to get, man. You know? And what did this guy Nate tell you, man? Ain't going to be no Jacob's trouble. The dude asked him, is there going to be a time of persecution, tribulation, worse than slavery happening to our people? And he clearly said, he said, no, we're going to be partying. No, what did he say? He said, he said, we're going to be partying and the world is going to suffer, and then boom, the chariots is going to come and save us. That's what he said, man. You know? So this guy's a false prophet, man. Along with ISUBK. They said Jacob's trouble is gay, man. Well, we're in the midst of Jacob's trouble now. So what do you have to say, man? You know? Guys are quiet. Crickets. You know? It says, matter of fact, let me read the verse up, because that's what I mentioned earlier. Jeremiah 30 and 5. I heard a cry of terror, a cry of fear, and not of peace. So we're not supposed to be, you know, in the time of peace, in the spirit of peace, man. Oh, we can't have fun in the truth. Y'all making serving the Lord look boring. Well, nigga, we're not in a time of peace, man. Scripture say there's a time for everything, a time of war, a time of peace, a time to love, a time to hate. We're in a time of hate and a time of war, man. You know, it says, it says, now stop and think, can a man give birth to a child? That's a rhetorical question. Why then do I see every man with his hands on his stomach like a woman in labor? So that's how much pain the Lord is going to bring, man. Man's going to get humbled, man. on their knees, begging, crying to the Lord. But it's going to be too late for a lot of jakes, man, because the time of repentance is now. Matter of fact, let me finish this real quick, read a couple more, and then I'm going to get more scriptures. It says, no electricity means no climate control. Some areas of the United States, such as Minnesota in the winter and Arizona in the summer, are only habitable because of climate control. If not for indoor heating and cooling, these places wouldn't have been inhabited by so many people. Once indoor heating and cooling disappear, surviving during the hottest and coldest times of the year will become a real problem. Some people would relocate or figure out a way to get by, but many who are unable would die of heat strokes or freeze to death. So, hey, that's another terrible way to die, man. Slowly freezing to death, or just getting roasted by a heat wave, man. It says no electricity means no modern medicine. Think of all the things that used to kill so many people before modern medicine. From polio to a ruptured appendix, there are countless things that once would have been fatal that are now either treatable or wiped out, which is all BS. The medicine comes from the earth. Even though there is certain medicines that's, Esau has, that'll work for certain things, but what his devil does is he always mixes poison in them. So if it fixes one thing, it fucks up 10 other shit, man. But that's going to be done away with, man. Modern medicine, however, is entirely dependent on electricity. Without it, all of these things would come roaring back with a vengeance. Hospitals that didn't close their doors would lose a large majority of their effectiveness without all the machines they rely on. Meanwhile, pharmaceutical companies would be unable to produce the wide array of prescription drugs that are keeping so many people alive. To make matters worse, the fact that access to fresh water would be greatly diminished means sanitation would become a real problem. Without proper sanitation, diseases would spread at an exponential rate. Due to these factors, no electricity means far more sick people and fewer ways to treat them. So there you go. That's the plagues that Yahweh Shah spoke about, which I'm going to get as well. It says no electricity means more murders. Within days of the electricity going out, our society is almost guaranteed to collapse into chaos. If you're convinced that would happen, just look at what happens when a natural disaster devastates just a single area of the U.S., then multiply that by the entire country. And you already see when there's the Louisiana thing that happened, the Louisiana Hurricane Sandy, over there in Texas. A couple years back, they got hit with floods, I believe, and lootings just intensified, man. It says looters would quickly steal anything they could get their hands on, and armed gangs would roam the streets. So it's gonna be certain factions of people clicking together for certain territories. They show you that in different movies, man. Post-apocalyptic movies. Law enforcement would clash with them at first, but they would almost certainly be overwhelmed in a little time at all. Then the chaos would cause people who were once law-abiding citizens to turn to crime, and the number of criminals law enforcement would have to deal with would go through the roof. So your average day-to-day person, that looks down on criminals, look down on murderers, on thieves, they're going to turn into those same people that they despise, man. It says, in addition, effective law enforcement is largely dependent on good communication and teamwork. Both things that become a lot more difficult in a world without electricity. All of this is to say that without electricity, going outside your home would suddenly become a much more dangerous endeavor. Those who are able to avoid starvation, dehydration, disease, and death by the elements would constantly have to look over their shoulders to avoid being killed. It's not a pretty picture of human nature, but it's a grim reality. And they go into prepping, I guess. Survival and all that, which, it only helps to a certain extent. You could have your extra food, your extra water that you store up. There's nothing wrong with that. But understand that you can't trust in that. You got to depend on Yahweh Bashim Yahushua solely. You got purpose that have all of that. But guess what? Most of them is not going to enjoy it. Like the scriptures say, those that be in the mountains shall die of hunger. So you can have that food, but then you might not be able to reach it, man. You might, let's say somebody lives in New York City, but they might have a bunker all the way upstate, you know, which when all hell breaks loose, they're going to travel all the way up there to the bunker or whatever. And they might, you know, start making it out there. And then on the way, something happened, accident or road blockage to where they end up dying on the way, or their car end up malfunctioning to where they got to walk the rest of the way, end up dying in the mountains, man. You know? So that's it on that. Now let's get some more scriptures. Matthew chapter 24, verse 6, it says, you are going to hear the noise of battles close by and the news of battles far away. So close by and far away. You see, Russia and Ukraine, they're far away. Iran, Israel, they're far away. But it's going to be close by as well. You're going to have war within America. Civil war is going to break loose. You know? America's going to have to go to war with certain South American countries, such as Venezuela. This is me speaking as a man, you know? Because you see that Russia, they're getting a foothold here in America's backyard, along with China, you know? Just like America does to them. They're doing the same thing. So expect for invasions, Chinese invasion, North Korean invasions, Iranian invasions, Russian invasions, you know? It says, such things must, no, it says, you are going to hear the noise of battles close by and the news of battles far away, but do not be troubled. Yeah, because the scriptures say wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our times and strength of salvation, man. You know, we can't be troubled. We can't, you know, of course, you know, it's going to be scary, you know, to see this much, you know, death going on around you. And we're in the flesh. So, of course, it's going to be scary, but we always got to fall back upon trusting in Yahweh Shem Yahushua and calling upon him in a time of trouble. As it states in the book of Psalms, call upon me in the time of trouble and I will deliver thee and you shall glorify me. So the Lord, he's bringing those troubles and he expects us to call upon him because we know it's coming from him so that he may be glorified, man, and saving his elect. That's how it always was. King David, whenever he was in a tight situation, surrounded by his enemies, he called on the Lord and the Lord delivered him, man. Whether it gave him spiritual power or caused a chariot to come down and slay his enemies, man. You know? And all our forefathers, you know? And it says, such things must happen, but they do not mean that the end has come. Yeah, because the end is going to come through the MOTB being made fully mandatory throughout the whole earth. You know, that's what's going to stir World War III to fully pop off, you know, and the missiles to be shot. It says, countries will fight each other. Kingdoms will attack one another. There will be famines and earthquakes everywhere. All these are the first pains of childbirth, which in the regular King James, it says, all these are the beginning of sorrows. And the scriptures say, matter of fact, what is this? 2 Ezra 15 or 16. I'm gonna have to find it, or it likens the plagues unto a woman giving birth. So when a woman gives birth, before she gives birth, she has contractions. You know, it comes in waves, and it become more frequent. So that's how the prophecies are, man. You know, and the childbirth represents Yahushua, you know, coming to the world and the missiles being shot down, you know, simultaneously, man. It says, then you will be arrested and handed over to be punished and be put to death. And you've seen the setup with, what's it called? The terrorists, you know, the domestic terrorist agenda that they've been setting up. You know, I said the article earlier this week where they said that blacks, Mexicans, and Indians are now considered white supremacists, man. You know? So we see the setup, man. We see where this is going, you know? So they're going to have us persecuted, man. And Biden also sanctioned for $40 million to be spent upon, what's it called? To be spent on what he said was, it was terroristic, but they basically, independent media. Anybody that watches or reports independent media is considered a domestic terrorist now, man. And an anti-Semitic, you know? So they gunning for us, man. It says, everyone will hate you because of me. Yeah, they're gonna portray us in the worst light possible, man. Have us out there looking like we're just some criminals, man. And now they got the AI technology and deep fake where they could create a video of you somewhere that you haven't even been, and they could portray you to the world as something you're not, you know? And they're gonna blame us for it, man. And also you got agents amongst different camps that, you know, are sleeper cells waiting to commit an act, so that way they could blame all Israelite camps for those acts, man. It says, many will give up their faith at that time. So that's why we gotta abide and endure to the end and pray to Yahweh B'Shem Yahshua to increase our faith, man, and to strengthen us in these last days, because we're gonna need it, man. You know? We're gonna feel like giving up, man, when all odds is against you, when your life is in jeopardy, your family's life is in jeopardy. But we always gotta trust that Yahweh B'Shem Yahshua got our backs, man. As he said, that's what faith is gonna come into fruition, man. It says, and they will betray one another and hate one another, man. So they won't betray one another and hate one another. Like it says, iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, man. You know, people are gonna lose that, you know, so-called, you know, what's it called? That so-called manners that they have, you know, good morning, all that bullshit, man. That's gonna be over with, man. You know? And brother's gonna kill brother. You know, family members gonna kill one another. You know? It says, then many false prophets will appear and fool many people. Those are your Bishop Nates, your General Yohanas, you know, your GOCCs, you know, your HOIs, you know, your TD Jakes, your Creflo Dollars. Those are all false prophets, man. It says, such will be the spread of evil that many people's love will grow cold, but whoever holds out to the end will be saved. So we got to abide and endure to the end, man. It says, and this good news about the kingdom will be preached to all the world for a witness to all people, and then the end shall come. And we're in the midst of that now. The internet has spread this truth throughout the four corners of the earth, man. You got brothers throughout all countries. Well, a lot of countries, I say. Germany, where else? You got Germany, Africa, you know, different parts of Africa, South America, you know, the UK, Philippines, you name it, brothers is over there, man. It says, I'm gonna jump down. Verse 21, it says, for the trouble at that time will be far more terrible than any there has ever been. Like it says in Jeremiah the 30th chapter and Daniel the 12th chapter, man. It says, from the beginning of the world to this very day, nor will there ever be anything like it again. Yeah, so the Most High, this is the time where he's about to take the gloves off and show who he really is, man. Show his full power, man. By the plagues that he's bringing. It's going to be greater than the plagues that he brought upon the Egyptians, man. You know? People are going to put some respect and fear on Yahweh B'Shem Yahshua's name, man. It says, had he not done, it says, but the Most High has already reduced the number of days. For had he not done so, nobody would survive. So if the Lord ain't shortened the days, nobody would survive, man. You know, the whole world will perish under this devil, man. You know, it says, for the sake of his chosen people, however, Yahweh Bashim Yahshua will reduce the days. And that's why the days have shortened, man. You know, time is just flying by. And even scientists say, yo, time is just faster now, man. It says, matter of fact, I'm going to jump down where it says, verse 27, for the Son of Men will come like the lightning which flashes across the whole sky from east to the west. So Yahushua is going to come swiftly, man, like a thief of the night. Before you even blink, Yahushua is going to pop up with all the angels, man. Faster than light. Wherever there is a dead body, the vultures will gather. And the dead body is, you know, all the people of America, man. You know, that's the feast that the Lord has set up, you know, for the great slaughter, man. And the vultures represents the angels. So the angels, they're going to make, you know, their full entrance over here, man. It says, soon after the trouble of those days, the sun will grow dark, the moon will no longer shine, the stars will fall from heaven, and the powers in space will be driven from their courses. So it says the sun will grow dark. Yeah, because the missiles, the smoke, the nuclear ash is going to blot out the sun, man. You know, it's going to blot out the whole sky. And the powers in space will be driven from their courses. So it really says the powers in heaven shall be shaken, which is going into the elites being shaken out of their exalted position, man. And not only that, the sky itself is going to shake, man. The Lord said, I rise once more, not to shake the earth only, but the heavens also. So everything is going to shake in fear before the presence of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. It says, then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky, and all the peoples of earth will weep as they see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Yeah, because people haven't been prepping themselves for that sight. They've been mocking, scoffing, you know, like it says in 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter. In the last days, some scoffers shall come, saying, where's the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. So they think that just because their foreparents have, you know, haven't lived to see it, then it's never going to happen, man. Oh, they've been saying this since my grandparents' time. You believe in the sky, daddy? That's what they say to us, man. Well, guess what? Once they see that sight, man, they're going to fear. And they're going to see that he's not coming as a white boy, you know, that soft looking Edomite with the blue eyes, no beard, long hair, you know. No, man, he's coming as a warrior, as a lion of the tribe of Judah, man, as a God. Like it says in Isaiah 47, I will not meet thee as a man, you know. So when the Lord pop up, man, it's going to be a force to be felt, you know. He's a so-called black man, angry so-called black man, man. You already see people already scared of Jake as it is, a dark-skinned Jake. You walk in the room, you know, you put the whole atmosphere change. So imagine Yahushua, the chief Judite, the chief Israelite, man, the chief angel of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. I mean, the chief angel of Yahweh. It says, then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky, and all the people of the earth will weep as they see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. The great trumpet will sound, and he will send out his angels to the four corners of the earth, and they will gather his chosen people from one end of the world to the other. So the angels is going to save the elect from the coming wrath, man. That's the only way to make it out of this coming destruction. It got to be up, you know? Like it says in Revelation, when the Lord come back, he's going to say, come up hither, you know? And we're going to ascend, Lord's will with those men, ascend in the chariots, man. And our enemies is going to behold us. And then Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter, is going to come into fruition. What it said, him? This was he? You know, whom we had sometimes in derision? Them niggas that was standing on the corner? You know? How are they making it on the ships, man? Beat me up too. You know? It says, let the fig tree teach you a lesson. When its branches become green and tender and it starts putting out leaves, you know that summer is nigh. In the same way, when you see all these things, you will know that the time is near, ready to begin. Yeah, so, he made an analogy. You see summer's about to come. When spring comes around, you see things start flourishing, summer is nigh, man. And the scriptures say that my people, how does it go? Yeah, Jeremiah 8:7. Yea, the stork in the heaven knoweth her appointed times, and the turtle and the crane and the swallow observe the time of their coming, but my people know not the judgment of the Lord. So Jake is not watching for the prophecies, man. So they don't know the time of judgment is now. We're living in a time of judgment, man. But Jake gonna keep mocking and scoffing and partying until the lights get shut off, man. And then let me get 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter. And Slaki if I'm long-winded. But hey, man, that's how the spirit be. 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 1. He answered, consider all these things very carefully. When you see that some of the signs I have told you about have appeared, you will know that the time has come when when God Most High will bring judgment on the world he has created. So what are those signs? It's going to go into it. It says there will be earthquakes, national rebellions, international intrigues, unstable leaders, and confused rulers. So earthquakes happening everywhere. Haiti just got hit with an earthquake today, along with a flood, back to back, man. It shows you that, that's a tribe of Levi, man, because they can't catch a break at all. But it'll become more common, man. Don't be surprised if a big earthquake hit New York City where hundreds of thousands or millions of people die, man. National rebellions. Yeah, because people, like the scriptures say, the Lord have, I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. And it also says that if Satan be divided against himself, how can his kingdom stand? So you got the left and the right, they're going to clash with each other, man. So it says international intrigues, unstable leaders, and confused rulers. So they're going to be unstable, man. Going to have leaders just slaughter, their own people. If people are protesting, they might just give the order, you'll just drop a bomb on them. And it says, when you see these things happening, you will know that they are what the Most High, God Most High has spoken about since the beginning of creation. And the scriptures tell us that Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah have declared the end from the beginning. So history was already pre-written, man. History, the present, and the future was already pre-written. Before the Most High even created the universe, he already had it planned out, man. He already had the scripts. He already had the scenes planning out. Yahweh Shah said not even a leaf or bird fall on the ground except the Most High sanctioned it, man. So this all by design. We're living in a simulation. The Most High simulation, man. You don't get free choice. You don't get to choose no. The Most High is in control of everything, man. That's why he's known as omnipotent, all-powerful, omnipresent, everywhere at all times. It says the beginning and the end of everything that happens in this world are clear. So when the seasons are coming in and when the seasons are going out. When somebody's born and when somebody's about to die. So it's the same thing with this world, with the prophecies. It says, the same is true in the world above. Wonders and miracles show the beginning of events, and mighty signs show when they end. So those are going to be the mighty signs. The Most High pelting this place off the earth with missiles, man. And before then, showing his mighty hand upon Egypt, like it says in 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. Matter of fact, yeah, I could get it too, but I don't even know how long I've been going then. But yeah, Spirit is taking over, man. I'm gonna get 2nd Ezra 15 and we could end it right there. But it says some people would escape destruction and be saved by their good works and by their faith. So by works and faith, because they go hand in hand. Like the scriptures say, faith without works is dead. And you can't have works without faith. Works without faith is dead as well. You know? So it got to be a combination of both. We got to do these lessons. We got to go out there and prophesy, you know, in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, man, you know. And it says, all of them will survive the dangers I have described and will enjoy the salvation provided in the land that I have set apart from eternity as my own. Whoo! So the elect, they're going to survive the dangers, man. All the plagues and calamities that's coming upon the world. The Lord is going to preserve his elect throughout all of it, man. As if he said it, that's what's going to happen, man. Because the Lord is not a man that he should lie. You know? And they will enjoy the salvation provided in the land that I have set apart from eternity as my own. So the elect, they're going to get beamed up, you know, from America's destruction. And after Israel gets wiped out as well in the midst of this World War III, we're going to go back to the land, you know, get beamed down and build it up by enslaving the rest of those nations, man. And the scriptures say that basically they're going to build up our walls. The sons of strangers are going to build up our walls, you know. And Ezekiel, the 38th chapter or 39th chapter, it goes into how we're going to sever men of continual employment to cleanse the land. So the heathens, they got work to do, man. They're going to have to cleanse the whole earth, not just Israel. After they finish with Israel, they're going to have to go to the surrounding areas and just keep pushing outwards, going east, west, north, and south to the other cities that have been devastated. You know, France, Turkey, you know, Saudi Arabia, you know, because you got to understand that when the missiles hit, like the scriptures say, the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard. So that means every single building, every single house will crumble, man. Ezekiel 38th chapter tells you every wall shall fall to the ground. So that's a lot of work, hundreds of thousands of years worth of construction to clean, man. You know, that's why it's going to take 1,000 years to rebuild the kingdom, man. You know, Einstein said World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones because World War III will basically wipe everything out, man. So it says, then those who have ignored my ways and held them in contempt will be surprised when they find themselves in continual torment, man. So the ones that ignored the ways of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, you know, 2/3, you know, 2/3 in the world, but also amongst Israel, man, that have ignored the ways of the Lord, ignored the prophecies. You know, Jake just want to party into the kingdom, having what's that shit called? Rap concerts, you know, Hebrew wrestling matches, you know, fashion shows at Passovers and things of that nature, man. Barbecues, and there's always a party spirit with Jake. I mean, when do you stop? You know? So you want to party on this side and party in the kingdom too? No, man. The scriptures say, arise and depart, for this is not our rest, man. So it says, they're going to be surprised when they find themselves in continual torment, man. You know? Matter of fact, quick scripture. Quick. You know? And slack it once again if I'm long-winded. This is Isaiah 33:13. Hear ye that are far off what I have done, and ye that are near acknowledge my might. The sinners in Zion are afraid. Fearfulness have surprised the hypocrites. Because it's going to come like a thief of the night. You know? Like it came on the people before the flood, man. They were partying, you know, drinking, marrying, giving in marriage until that Noah entered into the ark. And knew not till the flood came and took them all away. So they're going to party and bullshit. And then once they see the water droplets represents the prophecies, you know, and really going into the missiles. Then that's when they're going to get right. But it's going to be too late, man. You know, like the scripture say in Proverbs, the 1st chapter, that then shall they cry upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For that they hated the laws of the Most High, man. So Jake always want to get right when they're in a bad situation, man. You know? So it says, The sinners in Zion are afraid. Filthiness have surprised the hypocrites. Who among us shall dwell with the devouring fire? Who among us shall dwell with everlasting burnings? So only the elect is going to be able to remain from this calamity, man. You know? And it says in Revelation, the 15th chapter, that the elect, they're going to be on the chariots looking down on the destruction and sing the song of Moses, man. You know? That's not going to be all Israel, man. The Lord saved all Israel back in Egypt. But guess what? He still slaughtered that generation in the wilderness, man. So what makes you think that all Israel is going to be saved on this side, man? You know? You got a lot of camps talking about black people. No, man. Black people are through, man. The Lord ain't coming to save black people. He's not coming to save everybody, man. You know? Only the elect. But that's the point on that. Back in 2 Ezra chapter 9, verse 9. Then those who have ignored my ways and held them in contempt will be surprised when they find themselves in continual torment. And the torment is going to come in the famine and a World War III. You know, niggas being shipped off to Ukraine to go fight Russia, man. Shipped off to Israel to go fight against Iran. You know? And so on and so forth, man. It says, this will include all those who have ignored me while they were alive, even though they accepted the blessings I gave them. Yeah, so they accepted the blessings. You know, you got a lot of Jakes. They got money. Those celebrities, you know, celebrities in the world, the celebrities in Israel, a.k.a. Moneybag Nate, 150 mil, you know, the Kanye West, the Kyrie Irvings, the Kendrick Lamars, you know, all these celebrities that know they're Israelites, man. And that's not taking heed to this truth. It says, it will include all those who scorned my law during the time they were free to do so, and all those who refused to repent when they still had the chance. So the chance is now, but the doors of mercy is closing, man. You know, it's already narrow. Like Yahushua said, enter into the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth into destruction. No, what is it? Basically, the gate is wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. Yeah, that's what it is. And many there be which go in there. And straight is because straight is the way, narrow is the path, man. And few there be that find it. So it's already narrow. The path is already narrow, and it's getting narrower and narrower, man. The Lord is already gathering up most of his elect. And as soon as he finishes gathering up the elect, then boom, the Lord is going to bring that flood, man. Once that door closes, it says, the torment they will have to suffer after death will force them to recognize the truth. So after death by pain, man, you know, they're going to die a horrible death, but then they're going to come back into the kingdom, you know, as the children, the sons and daughters of the elect, which they're going to rejoice. But at the same time, the scriptures say that they're going to loathe themselves for their own ways. You know, they're going to despise themselves. They're going to wake up to everlasting shame and contempt, man. Like, fuck, I was a Saudi. I was part of LGBT. That's going to fuck a lot of Jake's head up, man. Damn, I used to murder niggas. You know? Damn, I was eating abominable foods. Damn, I was a sellout. You know? Damn, I was having abortions. You know? Okay, so that's the point on that. And I'm going to just go ahead and end it, you know, because I went on long enough. And, you know, Barakatah Yahweh Bashim Yahushua for giving us this truth, man. Because without it, we'll be through out here, man. You know, so all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, Bashim Chakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that give us this truth. And salutations to all y'all can pushing this word throughout the four corners of the earth in sincerity. Shalom.